We are extremely pleased, or at least I'm extremely pleased, hopefully you will be also in a few minutes, to have Dr. Dan Caramanico. I call him Doctor. Dan Caramanico is one of the leading sales trainers in America. Has been my friend and trainer, personal trainer for 30 years. Virtually any success that I've had in my career, I owe to Dan. He's agreed to be with us today, and he's going to do some role playing with you so that you can experience what professional sales looks like. Not the used car sales guy, not the guy that sells you hamburgers at the store, but a real professional sales trainer. So Dan, take it away. 20 minutes, and you'll see the timer, and then you turn into vapor.
Yeah, I think this thing has something to do with the vaporizing machine. First thing I want to say is you have to discount everything Don said about me by about 40, 50, 60%. He always goes over the top and gives me more credit than I deserve. The other thing I want to say is that Pat, and I've never met Pat before. We did not coordinate. The only thing we have in common is we both know Don, but I have one of my credentials, I'll tell you about in a second, is an MBA from the Wharton School. And I can tell you...
That's a distraction, Dan, I'm sorry. I think for you guys back here, it's just both the other mics are out.
Turn that off and we'll use this one.
Can you guys in the back hear me?
Turn them all off. Turn them all off.
Turn them all off. Wait, how do you do it?
Okay, we've now got another one. All right.
So we're an audio engineer in the house.
Just a minute.
Turn them all off. It doesn't work.
No, this is a completely separate unit.
All right, look up.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Do I have to start over, or can I just pick up from here? I'll stand in here. I think you can probably hear me. So what I want to say about Pat is we didn't coordinate our presentations, but I can tell you from, I went to the Wharton School, I can tell you that 10 minutes, you learn more in an overview of what marketing is and how it relates to sales than I learned in 2 years at the Wharton School. So that was
Let's be good friends for life.
You can buy me a beer later. The most important thing is when he defined your sales and marketing, interface, right? All the stuff you're going to learn today is all terrific, but eventually, at some point, you have to talk to somebody, right? You cannot do it all online unless there's some businesses, and I don't think I heard anybody that has one of those. Now, how many in here are just thrilled that they love the idea of getting in front of somebody and trying to sell them something? Okay, these are people that are all lying. How many people, mothers and fathers, raised them to be salespeople? So look, my original background was in engineering. I spent 13 years, 4 months in a week as an engineer, from being on the board to being a vice president. Then for the last 29 years, 3 months and 3 days, I've spent in the sales training business. That's approximate numbers. So here's what I want to tell you. I'm the one that has 20 minutes, and the reason is, somebody push a button and get me to the next one.
Now that we're good friends.
Don said he wanted me to do role playing, and he wanted me to, so you could get a feeling for what an actual sales call should sound like. I said 10 minutes, they got to have some kind of context, so there's going to be a few minutes of context. So let's say you're sitting in your office or in your home and the phone rings and you pick it up and it's a salesperson. How soon did you know it was a salesperson? Right away. Then, as soon as you know it's a salesperson, what do? I'm sure none of your prospects would ever do that to you, though, right?
This is what I want to learn right in this moment. Jump that hurdle.
How did we get in this mess? Nobody did that to me when I was an engineer. Said, "Look out, he's about to do engineering." So here's how it happened. Most sales training regimens since the beginning of time have all been me-centered. It's all about me and my product. and my service and my value proposition, right? And Pat said it already. He said, but I have news for you. Nobody cares about you, right? Nobody cares about your product or your service. And least of all, they care about your value proposition. I do a lot of work with a big company called Accenture. I started to work with these guys, and they call the federal government to get a half-an-hour meeting with a general in the Pentagon. And they bring this subject matter expert and a slide deck with 20 PowerPoint slides. And we're now going to, in a half an hour, we're going to do this, right? It's all me-centered. What we need to be is prospect-centered. Look, most doctors, all doctors, believe that prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. Most salespeople believe that if I just prescribe enough stuff to enough people over a long enough period of time, eventually somebody somewhere is going to buy some. So what we need to be is prospects. It's not about me, it's about them. So when we do the role play, you'll see that you'll find very little out about me. I just decided to throw this in here when I heard some of you do your elevator pitch. When somebody says, what do you do? The last thing you should do is say what you do. Okay? What do I do? You know, I do training sessions. Like Tuesday mornings we have workshops. In 30 years I've never run into somebody who's looking for something to do at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. You know, nobody cares about what you do. The HVAC guy, what's he do? He digs holes in the ground, pours concrete, brings in equipment, I don't know, all that. Does anybody really care about that? No. Tell what problems you fix. So if somebody asks me what I do, I say what I do is I work with individuals and companies who are unhappy with their level of sales, or maybe there's too much turnover in their sales force, or maybe their margins are slipping. Can somebody get an idea about what kind of problems I'm going to fix? Okay. So that's called being prospect-centered. It's about them. It's not about me. So that's the first thing. Can someone push the button? That's your final act. You don't need to do anymore. Okay, you need to have a sales training process, right? You evaluate a lot of companies, and a lot of salespeople probably evaluated, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 20,000 salespeople over the years. And inevitably, it comes up with they do not have a sales process that they use. Now, this same person, when they cut their lawn every week, they do it the same way. They have a process. Especially for guys, if they like grilling, they have a specific way they grill hamburgers. But the thing that defines their life and brings in the money, they just wing it. Okay? So this is something we would normally spend about 3 hours on. I'm going to do it in about 2 minutes. But 2 or 3 minutes. But basically, here's a question. Well, why does anybody buy anything? They need it. And what's the second answer? They want it. Okay, look. I told you I've been doing this for a long time. I've asked that question in excess of 7,000 times to groups like this. How many times do you think I get anything other than the word need or want? 9 times. And it's probably been 9 or 10 years since anybody. 9 times. Right? It just shows you how pervasive that me-centered selling thing is. Okay? So, look, let me ask you a few questions. Have you bought everything you need?
No.
Is everything you bought something you needed?
No.
You bought everything you want? That's an easy one. Is everything you bought something you wanted?
No.
Look. Yeah. See, some people get queasy on that when I say you're 13 years old. You say, I can't wait till I'm 21 so I can buy insurance because I really want to have it. So let me see if I can summarize. We buy stuff we don't want. We don't buy stuff we do want. We buy stuff we don't need, and we don't buy stuff we do need. So either A, we're all nuts, or B, there's something else going on, right? So this is the thing that for a guy with 3 engineering degrees was a little difficult for me to buy into at the beginning. But needs and wants are intellectual, and people do not buy intellectually. They buy emotionally. What we say is that people do not buy the features and benefits. What they buy are ways to avoid or overcome pain. Okay? So, the mission on a system, the first mission is to determine whether they have any pain. Now, if you look at this chart here, it says you're first looking for a compelling reason. Is there a compelling reason for this person to buy anything? That's the first thing I want to do in a role play, in a sales call, is to figure out is there a compelling reason. Okay? And that compelling reason is made up of, first, they should have a basic need for it or a basic want for it. There should be some pain. Pain is the emotionality behind the need. Right? What Pat was explaining, I'm not buying a generator, I'm not buying a massage, I'm buying relaxation. And now I have to make sure there's urgency. Like, it's one thing that I needed, it's another thing I'm going to get it now. Okay? And now is a relative term. For most of the people in this room, now is like this week or today or in the next month or so. When you're selling to the federal government, now is sometime in the next year or so. Okay. So first we need a compelling reason. We have to get them to focus on us. The paradox here is to get them to focus on us, we have to focus on them. Right, so it's all about them on this sales call. I'm wandering up here to see. Yeah, okay. And then we need to understand the decision process. What decision are they going to go through? We have to talk about money. Right? How many people love to do that? Right? And then the last thing is we need to get some sort of commitment, and through this process we develop a relationship. Okay. One last little tidbit I want to give you. Anybody, when they get in front of a prospect, they feel resistance? Let me explain where that comes from. There's a thing called a self-limiting belief that we all have. Everybody has it, me included. Right? And self-limiting belief, first of all, belief is a firmly held conviction about the way things are. So if I have a belief, I have data, proof, evidence, and experience. And if you don't share my belief, you just don't get it. All right. Now, if I take this, a common belief that people have is that people buy based on price. If I take that person and put them in training for 2 days and teach them 5 time-tested and proven techniques that sell value over price, and at the end of the second day they have it down cold and I have them on video doing it right. But what I didn't do is change their belief. This is why sales training fails. Great advertisement, right? So in the second day, so we have it down. The third day they get in front of a prospect. They say, so, Mrs. Prospect, how are you going to make your decision? She says, I'm going to go with low price. What happens to those 5 techniques I taught my salesperson? They're out the window, right? It says, makes sense to me. It's what I would do. I told that Caramanico was full of crap. Right? And now he's got another data point to reinforce the belief that he went in with. And it turns out you can only execute techniques that your belief systems will let you execute. So most of the time, the resistance you feel when you say, well, I could never answer that question, or I'd throw you out of my office. I hear that all the time. Well, I'd throw you out of my office if you did that. Nobody's ever thrown me out of an office, and I do this stuff all the time. Right? So any resistance you feel is from that belief, those belief systems, and these belief systems come in all forms. One is a need for approval, which means I'm more worried about whether you like me than whether you do business with me. If I'm more worried about whether you like me or not, then I won't execute any technique I perceive to be aggressive. It's too risky. I'd rather have you like me than have your money. Nobody will admit that. Okay? So those things are all at play. So we need to focus on the prospect. We need to go through this process that I did in about a minute. Okay? And meanwhile, we have to deal with these belief systems. That's why selling is way more difficult than engineering. I used to believe when I was an engineer back there, I said the first thing I would do if they put me in charge is fire all the salespeople, because as far as I could see, there was no social redeeming value in a salesperson. All I could see they did was take people lunch and play golf. We had to deliver. We couldn't use them to do the project. They were, I can speak because I have a foot in both camps, right? I can speak authoritatively on this. I can tell you that for every person who can sell, there's 100 people who can deliver. It's a much rarer skill, okay? And as they say, nothing happens till somebody sells something. Okay, so I need a volunteer. Oh, wow. Okay, what do you sell? Here's how this works. You're gonna be one of your prospects, and I'm gonna be you. And I know how much have I studied about your product?
You've studied.
I'm gonna study for the next 30 seconds. What do you sell?
Advertising space.
Oh, good. I've actually read some advertising. Who do you sell it to?
To small business owners mostly.
Small business and advertising in what?
Publication and our website.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to set the scenario here. Somehow we've talked on the phone. Somebody did some LinkedIn. Bryn did a great job on. Did a great job on. Getting us in front of you. Somehow the Facebook got us there. Somehow we talked on the phone and I'm here. Right. I'm going to skip the bonding and rapport part. You know, you need to establish a connection with the prospect. So I'm skipping that. We're assuming, what's your first name?
Karen.
Karen. So we've done bonding and rapport, so it goes something like this. So Karen, so maybe you can tell me a little bit about what you're looking for.
Am I being sold?
You're the prospect.
I'm the prospect?
Yeah, unless you know how to do these sales techniques. Just kidding. She might be really good. I don't know. Okay, so you're the prospect, one of your prospects, small business owner. Somehow you've got some interest in what I do. I sell advertising. Okay, so look, we talked on the phone a little bit. You said you want to do some advertising. Maybe you could describe a little bit about what you've done so far and what you're looking to do.
Oh, I need more business. I need to sell more of my
What have you done
product.
so far?
I've advertised, I spent like $75,000 in advertising.
Really, where did you advertise?
On these big magazines that go to all across the country. But,
Right. It didn't work. What kind of customer are you looking for?
Looking for people that this is a horse product. So
What's your business?
It's a magazine called Holistic
Say
Horse.
again?
Holistic Horse. It's a horse magazine.
Oh, the horse. So you've advertised in that. Are your clients national?
Yeah, they're all over the country. All over
Sounds
the
like you're
world.
pretty down on advertising.
Why?
Well, you've advertised everywhere and got nothing.
And I'm not getting a return on investment.
So why do you still want to do advertising?
Well, I have to in order to sell the product, right?
I don't know. You
Get
could
people to
do
know
direct mail.
That's expensive.
Okay, stop. I'm going to stop for a second. So who notices anything so far?
You've asked questions.
Huh?
You've asked the
I
questions
asked
about
questions.
her current experience and what she's looking for.
How much does she know about what I do so far?
Nothing.
Right. And what did you say? What did you notice?
You just seem like devil's advocate.
I said what?
You seem like the devil's advocate.
I seem like the devil's advocate. Does it sound like I'm a salesperson?
No.
Look, this is one overriding thing. If you don't remember anything else, if it sounds like something a salesperson would say,
Don't
say it. Say something else. Say the opposite. Okay?
So how do you get in the door? How do you say hello? I am Wire. That's
Can I do that in a second? I'll do a role
Yeah.
play. You want to do a role play of what the first call on the phone would be like?
Okay.
I'm here. So I would keep going. Now look, it's really hard to do this in role play because does she have pain?
Yes.
So how am I going to find it? She doesn't have it. She's not looking to do this. She's one of her customers, right? She's selling advertising, so she doesn't really have the pain. So it's really difficult to finding. But those are the kinds of questions. Notice I'm going to keep going with this. So fast forward a little bit in the role call. So you've told me you've done a lot of advertising. It hasn't been successful, but you feel like you have to do it. Like who are you trying to attract?
the small business, the small owners, the people that have their own horses.
In what locality?
All across the country, because it's.
So it could be anywhere?
Yeah.
So, geez. So but you're not down on advertising. You will do it. You still think you want to do something.
Well, I've tried the social media thing, but I don't have enough time to do that by myself.
Right. Right. So how much you think you need to generate in terms of sales?
At least double what I put into the advertising. At least double.
Mm-hmm. But how much do you think you want to spend on advertising?
Well, I got to cut my budget to $50,000 this year.
Okay. And look, in real life, we would have, if she really had pain, I can see that she has some pain about the advertising that she did, right? I want to deal with that. If you know that there's an objection you're going to hear, let's deal with it up front, right? Like I dealt with some young realtors one time, and just an example pops to my head. The example he's going to have is he's only been in real estate 6 months. So I taught him to say, Karen, the biggest problem I have, on a day-to-day basis, she says, she's going to say what? Right? She can't wait to hear. She said, the biggest problem I have is that I've only been in the real estate business 6 months, and do you think that's going to be a problem for you?
It would be for me.
Well, she's either going to say yes. So in other words, no matter what I say or what I did or how much backup I have or how I would get my whole company behind me, that doesn't matter to you. So no matter what I said, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I have a problem.
So do you think there's any sense in me continuing this meeting?
No.
So it sounds like it's over.
Yes.
Now that it's over, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why is it that you would rather work? Now, once you said it's over, right? Like it's never over until you want it to be over. The sales call's over, right? So I got nothing to lose. I said, look, can I ask you a question? You have your choice of dealing with a realtor that's got
15 years in the business and he's got 25, 30 listings. So you're going to get about 4% of his effort. Versus I have like no listings, right? So you're going to get 100% of my effort. So I mean, I guess I have a hard time understanding that. But I'm okay with your decision. I got 1 minute. Try to do another role play in 1 minute, but you get the basic idea. So let's do it in the 1 minute. Somebody give me a lesson learned out of this. Go ahead.
To try to find out what your customer wants and bring it to them.
Yeah, not only what they want, but why they want it.
Yeah.
Right? I'll ask people to say, so what's the person's pain? The pain is they need it by July 1st. I said, why? It's not, what happens if they don't get it by July 1st? That's the pain. Look, here's how you tell the difference between pain and not pain. If you can count it or measure it, it's not pain. Here's proof. I'm mostly speaking to the men here, but does you ever have anybody ask you, how much do you love me? How do you answer that? Here's my answer. Remember the engineering background, right? Somebody asks you that question, just say, 17. I had a colleague that said, just say this much. Right? But I guarantee if you say 17 today, it better be a higher number tomorrow. So look, because pain, or I hate that person so much. How much? Tell me how much. You can't measure it. But pain, hate and love are emotional. So you want it. You do not want to stay in intellectual. Get beyond the intellectual into the emotional, and it's that emotion which will drive the sale. That will give you the compelling reason to move forward. So look, you don't need fancy sales techniques. Don is sitting there smiling because he recognizes the ones I did. We spent a lot of time teaching them, but you don't need fancy techniques. I'll take the last 20 seconds and say this one thing. Every week I send out a free sales tip video. So if anybody would like to get on that list and get a free tip every week, except when I'm away on a cruise to Bermuda, we need to send one out. But if anybody would like to get one of those, just find me and give me your business card, and I will add you to the list. Okay, thanks.